My Jesus. God called me and I answered his call. He called me to preach the gospel. He called me to be instant, in season, out of season. Whew. Sometimes I'm not able to figure out what God is up to, but he knows. And as long as he knows, that's all right with me. My job is to preach and then leave the results to God. Today is Sunday, September 9th, 2018. As though you didn't already know, I am Albert Franklin Lancaster, speaking to you from the recording studio sanctuary of the New Greater New Bethel Baptist Church of Linden, Alabama. Whew. It was 12 years ago that on September 10th, preached my first sermon in this church after having spent 10 years in the building of the church. This is my 12th anniversary, and I'm glad about that. The Lord has been good. He's been gracious. He's been kind. He's been merciful. Oh, how I love the Lord. Whew, because he heard my cry, pitied my every groan. So, my friends, long as I live and trouble rise, I shall hasten to my master's throne. Whew. From whence cometh my help? My help, my help, my help come from the Lord. I want y'all to go with me for a little while into Jesus's beginning ministry as recorded by St. John. Oh, Namibia. Oh, Namibia. See if I can break it up into syllables and say Namibia. That is spelled Nimibia. Namibia. Wish I could get this message to Namibia today. To the over humble people who, in large part, have not so much as heard about Jesus. Now, I tell you what I want you big boys to do, you deacons and administrators and power brokers, you Warren Buffetts and Bill Gates, plural. God rest the soul of Steve Jobs. But I want y'all boys to get this message down there into the northwest section of the country of Namibia. I wish I was a linguist specializing in linguistics where I could just get all of the juices out of the word Namibia. I think it's the BIA, the last three letters in the word, that really thrill my soul. I've encountered those words in many African languages. Oh, BIA. I'm going to preach in a minute. Namibia is my target. This Greater New Bethel Baptist Church has undertaken the Namibia Gospel Crusade. Whew. If I could get the message down there, I would. But my brothers, the big boys, y'all can get it down there, and I want y'all to go ahead on and do it. Look with me, if you will, please, in the Gospel according to St. John, chapter number 2, and verse number 13. I ought to go back up to verse 11, and I think that's what I will do. Verse 11, I'm just going to read this thing for a while. Where Christ performs his inaugural miracles. John 2:11 says, this is the beginning of miracles. This beginning of miracles. I better read it right. This beginning of miracles did Jesus in Cana of Galilee and manifested forth his glory. Semicolon. And his disciples believed in him. Period. Verse 12, after this, he went down into Capernaum. He and his mother, his brethren, and his disciples, full colon. And they continued there not many days. Thank you, Jesus. And the Jews' Passover was at hand, and Jesus went up to Jerusalem and found in the temple those that sold oxen and sheep and doves and the changers of money sitting. And when he had made a scourge of small cords, he drove them out of the temple, and the sheep and the oxen, and poured out the money changers' money. I want to make an insertion here. He didn't put the money changers' money in his pocket. He just poured it out. Yeah. And overturning the tables of the money changers. This is my concluding thought here. And he said unto them that sold doves, take these things hence. Make not my Father's house an house of merchandise. Verses 11 through 16, John chapter 2, for a subject I shall use the words, when religion gets sick. When religion gets sick. I've seen it here and there. Even when back in the year 1978 and 9, I just started preaching, started a family, moved to Birmingham, Alabama from my little hometown here, and attended a church there. Pastor of that church got word to me that he did not want nor need any more preachers in his church. I didn't go back. I found a church home at the Mount Pleasant Baptist Church, 46th Street in Birmingham. It was pastored by the late Dr. Willie James Gilmore, who earned his doctorate of divinity from the Birmingham Baptist Bible College. Great preacher, teacher, earned his doctorate of divinity at the same school that my great-grandfather got his doctorate of divinity, at Birmingham Baptist Bible College. When I got there, he greeted me with open arms as a father in the ministry. Because my preach father, Reverend Rowe, had died, and I was a fatherless preacher, kicked around. But Dr. Gilmore took me under his wings. And I shall give to you quickly and move on a few words that was on the signboard in front of his church. Here's what the word said. When the church stopped seeking the lost, the church itself is lost. When religion gets sick, church itself is lost. For those of you in Africa that pick up this message through the internet, you may not have heard this expression. Our academicians in the black community formulated a word called ebonics. And ebonics is a term that represent the unique non-standard English expressions of African Americans. And I want to go into my ebonics vocabulary and say these words. That religion is done got sick in these new United States of America. Religion is done got sick in Linden, Alabama. Religion is done got sick all over the world. This is my anniversary. And it was sick religion that propelled me to undertake the building of this church. Jesus found a sick church. Some Christians say, some churchmen, those that fly highest in Christianity, say that, or have said rather, that a sick religion is worse than no religion at all. Jesus was concerned about sick religion, as is proven by his driving the money changers out of the temple. At that time, a good bit of Judaism had gotten sick. Uh, the synagogue was sick. The temple sick. And the great physician, Jesus Christ, had come to bring healing. Sick religion today, whew, it just makes me sick. Makes me sick. We got all this gospel here. Let me ask you something. When you drop your coins in the offering plate, when you drop your money in the offering plate, how much of it goes to the people that have never heard about Jesus? Do you know? For a long time, I could not answer that question. And I had to get into a church where I would know that the gospel is being carried throughout the entire world, because that's the Great Commission. And it just makes me sick to see a sick religion. People of Namibia, Southwest Africa, have a dual worship experience. They worship the god Makuru on the one hand, and they worship their dead ancestors on the other hand. They believe that Makuru can only bless, but that the dead ancestors that they worship can bless and curse. This is the contemporary belief of the Overhimba people, my target population, in northeast Namibia, southwest Africa. It is incumbent upon us Christians, I'm not going to say Christians in the Western world, not even Christians in the United States, not even Christians in Africa, but it is incumbent upon us Christians everywhere to go on down in Namibia, whew, and see about the ones, see about the Overhimbers that has never so much as heard of the miracle working power of Jesus Christ. I just believe, my friends, that we ought to do religion rather than just talk religion. That talking religion is what got religion sick in the first place. So let me ask you, what did Jesus see in the temple that caused him to take such aggressive action? He saw the same thing that I saw when I commenced a 10-year journey of building this church. Jesus saw lostness. He saw, in the first instance, a loss of the sense of awe and respect for God. He saw a sense of loss of the cost of religion. Finally, he saw a loss of a sense of the outsiders. In the temple, they had a court for the Gentiles, but the Jews that frequented the temple there in large part uh, didn't pay any attention to the need of the Gentiles to receive the worship experience of God, the presence of God. One scholar I discovered in the preparation of this message, I believe his name is Dietrich Bonhoeffer, the World War II German preacher, said that he said that to say yes to the call of Jesus, to say yes to the claims of God, is to deny self. What he meant was that in order to have good religion, a well alive and vibrant religion, it required a total commitment. What he meant by dying to self, a total commitment. Those that were driven out of the temple by Jesus did not have a total commitment. I just wish that we all would sell out lock, stock, and barrel and make a total commitment to the spreading of the gospel to the Overhemba people in Namibia, Southwest Africa, up there in that northeast pocket. Also throughout the entire world. But I just hear them calling. I can hear sweet Namibia calling. We got to go and see about them. If you don't, I just don't know what your end will be. But I know what I'm doing. I can't get down there right now. But by God's grace, I send money systematically and continuously to Africa. And let me just tell you, sophisticated family members of mine that I love dearly, that I hate so bad to see on the road to hell. I love you. I want to call your name so bad and tell you that you need to be in church right now, and I know you're not there. And some of you are in the church and on your way to hell. I'm talking about my own kinfolks. And I want you to get saved. Sell out to Jesus. So we can have a church that is alive, a church that is well, rather than the sick church. that I see too many places. I got to hurry to my conclusion. Try to get on out of here. Man told me, church leader, you go ahead and send your money to Africa. I'll take care of my people here in the United States of America. Let me tell you something, Black America. That's where we came from. And right now, every year, we Africans in America will spend $1.1 trillion or more every 12 months. That is commensurate with and in excess of the gross national product of 8 or 10 of the top countries in the world. We have the resources. We have the religion. It's just a little bit sick. We need to get that gospel down to Namibia. If we look carefully at what the Jewish people that frequented the temple in Jesus' day were doing, they were coming and going in God's house, and they had little respect for the main event, which was communion with God. People bought, sold, traded money as if God's house was a marketplace, as if God's house was a New York Stock Exchange, the Chicago Board of Trade, or any of the other marketplaces where money is exchanged. God intended for the temple to be a place where he and his children could meet, have fellowship. Thank God for the 4 consecrated walls of the New Greater New Bethel Baptist Church here, where we, any willing soul can come and have fellowship with God, where the maximum is maximized, where the minimum is minimized. Yes, God intended for his temple to be a place where he and his children could meet. Jesus inaugurated his ministry by what some would call an act of violence, assault, and battery, but he said, "This is my Father's house." And he took possession. That is what you need to do. Take possession. Let me tell you this. I haven't been panhandling money for my own benefit. The 10 years it took me to build this church, I didn't have one fundraising campaign. I didn't sell one fish or chicken dinner, and I didn't solicit funds. God provided every need that I had in the building of this church. Every nail, every need. Don't you stagger and hesitate to send money here for the Namibia Gospel Crusade. Send it on. When I was a child, I was taught this. When you put your money in church, when you put your money in God's program, God is going to bless you, even if the money is misappropriated or misapplied, even if the money is stolen. A preacher told me one time, a deacon told me one time, I got to go. 29 minutes and 49 seconds. Religion that costs nothing is worth nothing. Let's heal the sick churches. Now unto him who's able to keep us from falling and to present us faultless before the presence of his glory with exceeding great joy, the only wise God, to whom be glory, majesty, dominion, power, both now, henceforth, and forevermore. Amen. God bless you till we meet again. My Jesus. Whew. This is the remainder of Albert Franklin Lancaster after having labored in God's vineyard, lo, all of these years. I am in no ways tired.